Hello everyone. In this video, we will try to understand how we can go for harvesting, threshing, winnowing and ultimately storage of food grains in agriculture. So let us go ahead. The first step after the crop is ready on the field is harvesting. It normally takes about 3 to 4 months for a food crop to mature. Once the food crop is mature, it will turn golden yellow in color, which indicates that it is ready for cutting and gathering. This cutting and gathering of the crop once it matures is called harvesting. Harvesting can be done by using a simple tool called sickle. This is a manual method of harvesting. If we want to go for automation, then we can use a machine called harvester. The second step after harvesting is threshing. The process of separating the food grains from the stalk of the plant. That means the main plant body is called threshing. Threshing can be done by a variety of ways. Traditionally, threshing was done by hitting the harvested crop on hard surface, as you can see in the image given over here. The food grains gets separated from the main body of the plant. Another method which was used is foot threshing. In foot threshing, the harvested crop is spread on the field. Then cattle is allowed to walk over this harvested crop again and again. The cattle's feet crush the harvested crop, due to which the shaft breaks open and the grains come out. During this process, even the stem and the leaves of the plant will get reduced to small pieces called hay. This hay can be given as fodder to the animals later on. Nowadays, we also use a machine for threshing, which is called threshing machine. At the end of threshing, what we obtain is a mixture of food grains, outer covering called chaff, and very tiny pieces of stem and leaves called hay. Now the next question which is in front of us is how to separate these food grains from the unwanted particles. This is called winnowing. In this process, what we will do is we will separate the food grains from the chaff and the hay with the help of wind. As wind is used in this process is called winnowing. Let us see how it is done. As you can see on the image which is given on the left hand side, food grains are allowed to fall on the ground from some height. When the food grains are allowed to fall from some height and the wind is blowing, then the food grains, being heavy, will fall straight on the ground. Whereas chaff and hay, which are light in weight, are carried away to some distance with the wind. In this way, we can separate the food grains from the unwanted residue. Nowadays, winnowing can also be done by using a machine called winnowing machine. Thus, at the end of winnowing, we are getting the food grains which we can use it. We can fill it up in the gunny bags and dispatch it. Now, we will talk about a very important discovery in the field of agriculture, which is a machine called combine. Combine is a huge machine which can do all the three processes which we have discussed earlier, that is harvesting, threshing as well as winnowing, in one single operation. And the food grains which are obtained at the end of this particular process which it carries out are so clean that we can directly fill it up in the gunny bags and then distribute it in the market. Combine saves a lot of time and labor, and that's why so many farmers prefer using combine, those who are having large fields. But it has got some disadvantages also. First of all, it is a very expensive machine. Other thing is, when we use combine on the fields, Then it will go for cutting of the crops in such a way that the crops are not cut very near to the ground. So a lot of residue will be left behind on the ground. So the yield of hay is reduced. Another thing is the leftover on the ground, which is called stub, are burnt by the farmers, which leads to a lot of air pollution. Sometimes the fire also spreads to the nearby fields, causing further problems. But still, combine is a useful machine if we use it properly.